I've struggled with referring out or letting go of my clients, existing clients. And then I realized that I needed to get the ego out of the way too, right? Which is also what the Keller Williams book says. And it was that they're not actually attached to me. They're attached to the services that I'm able to offer them. So good morning, everybody. I'm Toni Singh.
And I'm Jenny Woon.
Thank you for tuning in to In the House podcast. We're doing things a little bit differently today.
So uncomfortably different.
No, it's fun. This is a part of our expansion that you guys are witnessing firsthand. Today, we're just going to be, I guess, we're free-flowing. We're free-flowing entirely. Jenny is smiling right now, and she's loving it immensely. And what is our topic for today?
Well, I was thinking that since you have recently added somebody on your team and you're constantly looking for new members on your team, I'm also wanting to add to my team as well that we should just have an open forum of this, I
Journey?
guess, what do you call it? Job fair, but online.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So we're doing a call out to people. We're basically going to let you guys know what it is that we're looking for. And if
Right.
there's any amazing applicants, then get in touch with us.
Exactly.
Okay.
I felt like this is like a free platform for us to use.
It is a free platform.
And we might as
And
well
it's
take
our
advantage of
platform.
it. And if any of you listeners know someone who would be a perfect fit for our team, we would love to interview them.
Yeah.
So let's get started.
Okay.
Okay, so Toni, you added someone recently to your team.
Yes.
Okay, who is that person? What's their role and how's it going? Should we break it
She's
down a little bit?
probably listening to this episode right now because she supports us immensely. Her name is Anoop Sangra. Hello, Anoop.
Hi, Noob. I met her right at the Framework Retreats.
Yeah, she was
Okay.
pretty new. That she's only been with me since March 1st.
Okay, right. And so, yeah, lovely, lovely girl.
She's
lady.
fantastic, very capable. I've said this many times before, but she's a newer realtor. She does have her license. She's been licensed for a couple of years. And I've added her onto my team to basically be a buyer's agent and help support and work with our clients so that I can have more time back doing what it is that I really am passionate about and love, which is I'm working on listings, signing contracts, and also growing the business. So that's why I hired her. And how's it going to date? I mean, that's probably a better question for Anoop because I have to tell you, I've learned so much about myself and continually doing so as a leader. And I want to be better
So
every day.
let's talk about your structure.
Okay. Like team structure or?
Yeah, your team structure. So what's her title?
So her title is Realtor / buyer's agent because this is the thing. We also want her to be able to build her own business while also helping me build my business. And we will have mutually shared clients, especially if she's going to be working with, she's actually already closed a few deals working with our buyer clients. And it's been an amazing process for the client as well as for her in terms of learning. Like she had never done her own deal before. This was the first time. And again, she started March 1st. What are we now? July? So she's still pretty new.
Right. She's passed the 3-month probation with you.
Oh, yeah. I love Anoop. Anoop, if you're listening, don't leave me. Let's continue on this journey together.
So I know how it is to take on a new agent who does not have any experience.
Yeah.
And it's an investment of your time.
So I wanted to ask you about that, but we'll like free flow.
Yeah.
About it.
So my question to you is that was there any hesitation or did you actually interview like a whack of
No.
agents and she was the best fit.
So this is a question I'm going to turn around on you later after I answer you. But I actually went solely off of intuition this time, which is something that for hiring and things like that, I've always kind of been worried. Like even when I hired my first assistant, full-time assistant, I don't know, there was a lot of fears there, and they probably all had to do with the inward fears of myself and building a team and can I do it, can I not, which is what we all face, right, as humans. But when a Anoop kind of came to me, basically, so her boyfriend is really good friends with my brother.
Okay.
And when Anoop had reached out, it was during the time my dad was very sick in the hospital and I needed more help because we were very busy. It was really challenging getting everything done. And I kind of just said to the universe, okay, I'm ready now, send the right person. And so it wasn't out of necessity. I don't want to make it sound that way, but in the past, maybe we would have done a personality assessment or better assess their whys. She reached out to me. I was busy dealing with the hospital, things like that. I hadn't called her back right away because I was getting back to clients. She followed up with me. Her lead follow up was impeccable, sounded great on the telephone. So another like ding, 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 this could be the right person. And then shortly after that, we set up an appointment. And from that appointment, when I asked her why, which is a very important question, I think, I knew that I had wanted to hire her on the spot. So for you, because you have a team member of, is it still 6? Okay, 6 team members on your West One
Including
team,
myself.
including yourself. When each time you've made a hire, did you have things like clear job descriptions? Did you have certain questions or surveys that you needed them to fill out first? Or did you hire these people on intuition as well?
So let's start off with Sam and Andrew. They kind of came together from another team, and I had known them since hanging my license at Remax. So
Okay.
in a way, we were a little bit we weren't on the same team, but we were still tight because it. I would say that their team leader was once on the team that I was on. So that team leader was once on our team. And so I kind of knew how Sam and Andrew worked. And they already had X number of years of experience, at least 4 years
Okay, that's good.
as a
Because
duo.
I'm kind of training green right now, which is also okay if it's a capable person. It's a lot of work though.
It is, yeah. So I didn't really have to train them on anything like how to write a contract, how to follow up with leads, how to do showings, how to book tours. So I think that particular part is like really time consuming. But for me, more than anything, we kind of sat down. They wanted a little bit more of coaching and mentoring, and more leads. And so
Okay.
that was one thing that I was able to provide to them. And that was just a very natural progression in them coming on to West One. With Dominic, he was actually recommended by our owner of Oakland Realty, and so at that time, Dom was quite new.
Okay. But you
And
already had people on the team that you could rely on that were
right.
experienced.
So the Sam and Andrew who were experienced, I wanted them to be kind of the big brother slash mentor to Dom. So in a way, they kind of took that off my hands, but also me overseeing kind of the entire scope, the entire picture for all 3 of them.
Yeah.
So, but the great thing about Dom is that his circle of friends is actually the same circle of friends as Sam and Andrew.
Oh, that's so
And so,
spectacular.
in a way, they actually got along so well because not only were they professionally like getting along, they were personally also getting along. And even with Dominic getting married recently, Sam went to his
Yeah.
wedding.
So take us back a second though, just because, okay, when it's around 6 years ago, you had, Sam and Andrew.
Andrew.
And then how long after that did you bring on Dom? Was it pretty close or?
Yeah, I'd say about a year later
Okay, not too
because
bad.
I knew that we were ready for another expansion. We had leads. More than anything, I had a lot of projects going on, so I
Yeah.
needed another person to work on the projects with
Yeah.
me. And so the perfect introduction for a real estate agent getting into the business who does not have leads is to train them on maybe a pre-sale project, maybe a finished homes. They kind of have like their script dialed down, demonstration capabilities dialed down from show home to show home. And there's a little bit of structure. There's a little bit of opportunity to get leads
Yeah.
from the
From the site.
sites for those that are not interested in buying that project. So there was a little bit of everything exposed to him, and he can slowly write contracts for any like resale
Of
properties.
course. It's good training for everything.
Right. And then in turn, like even with Sam and Andrew being able to kind of help them, a little bit at a time. I also, just to put on the table here, I did pay him an hourly rate.
Yeah.
Because just to manage the sites for me, just because I wanted to make sure that he wasn't going to go into huge debt
Makes sense.
as an early, starter agent. And then Samantha came on. I'd say the most recent is, I would say, about 3 years. And so we actually did a deal with her, a transaction with her, and it was recommended by Andrew, asking, hey, like, Jenny, are you looking for another team member? I said, absolutely. Like, I never want to close the door on that.
That's the best way to add to a team member because you can see how they operate in
operated.
that type of situation.
Yes. With Samantha, though, like all the guys, they jumped on board right away. But with Samantha, because she's always been a solo entrepreneur, and she was actually even earlier on at Oakland than we were, she's never had to be on a team. And
That'd
so
be an adjustment.
her joining the team, there was probably at least 2 interviews, discussion with her family, her extended family, whether or not this is the right fit. And then also knowing what are like really outlining the expectations from her end,
Yeah.
and also on our end.
So then how long ago did Samantha join you?
So yeah, 3 years ago.
Oh, okay. So that's a fair amount of time. And she's still on your team, so I'm assuming she made the right decision.
Well, I think it's a perfect match because we really don't have anyone that really services Tri-Cities.
Yes.
Because we all live like either East Vancouver, Burnaby.
It is perfect.
To the west. And also she's great with a particular type of clientele with like families and downsizers.
Absolutely.
And so she's
That's a niche right there.
fantastic with that. Another thing is that she's been able to come on board working on projects. And she's had such a great experience with it that she's now on to our second project already in East Vancouver. So her being able to start a family, Jeannie's about a year old, more than a year old, and but just allowing us to kind of take care of her business while she's away.
Yeah.
And even just handling a lot of her marketing that she wasn't able to manage. I think it was a perfect fit for us to come together.
That's really interesting that you brought that up because at our team meeting last week on the Thursday, we actually just talked about that. So I'll just say it on here, and it's just something new that we're trying. And maybe it's because I'm allowing it now because I had repelled it for a long time. I'm like, no, I don't want to be leading a team because it's a lot more responsibility and things. And again, it's all that inner turmoil stuff, right? Being very raw here, people. Try not to judge so much, okay? So last Thursday, I was thinking, because I've been training a noob and she's pretty green and pretty new, but she's a very quick learner. There are these 2 other realtors. I will not say who they are for privacy reasons yet, but they are also looking to join our team. So on the Thursday, rather than just doing the regular mentorship session, we did a roundtable with all of them. So there was 4 of us there. A different team member was sick, so she didn't come. But it was really interesting because I'm thinking it's very along the lines of the guests that we just had on, right? In terms of being time efficient, in terms of having or being more, but not putting in more work necessarily, right? So I thought, well, if these 2 other awesome individuals want to join our team and they're green, a lot of realtors might say, Toni, don't do that. Don't do it because it's a lot of time. But if they're all getting trained at the exact same time,
Right.
it's okay.
Right.
It's okay. And also, it was purposely done because I'm thinking I think that they would have the camaraderie anyhow because they're at similar points in their careers.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different way to do it. I don't know if it'll work, but I was pretty happy with that meeting and the results so far. So I'll keep you posted
Can you clarify? Are you adding to your team or adding to the brokerage?
to my
To
team.
your team. Okay. Okay.
Because and we'll go back to the why for me is I've struggled with referring out or letting go of my clients, existing clients.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized that I needed to get the ego out of the way too, right? Which is also what the Keller Williams book says. And it was that they're not actually attached to me, they're attached to the services that I'm able to offer them. So if I can train the team properly in terms of what services I offer clients and they can do the same,
Mm-hmm.
then the experience for all of our clients is that much better.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that's what we're doing. And I get my time back because you know that I want to spend more time with my kids
Mm-hmm.
and I want to be working on the business rather than in the business. So it's a really big shift for me. A little, I don't want to say late in the game because that's not kind, but I've made that decision now because the time is really important.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you acknowledged that.
Thank you, Jenny. So let's get back to your team for a moment then. So Samantha was your last team member that you had hired, or there was another one as well?
Nope, that's it. I mean, we can't
And
forget about
Miranda,
Miranda.
but I was going to say
So,
Miranda was with you at first from the beginning, wasn't she?
no,
No, I
she's
thought she
been
was.
about 5 years now,
Almost.
and this comes September, it'll be 6 years. No, it'll be 5 years. So we're about four
So,
and a half, 4 3/4 in.
I mean, Miranda's amazing. She's actually sitting with us right now, you guys, behind the scenes here. But I guess in order for us to put a call out to our listeners for our ideal candidates in terms of ones that we would want to work with and hire
Right.
and support in their life goals as well,
Mm-hmm.
we need to, I think, probably explain a little bit about the past. So, what does Miranda do on your team
Right.
so we can move into the
Miranda,
future?
on a bigger picture, on a bigger scale, she helps me carry out the visions that I have for the strategies for the projects that we take on with developers.
Mm-hmm.
So I strategize with the developers, come up with like marketing plans and sales plans, and she's kind of the kind of the middle ground between me and the developer who perhaps may have their own internal marketing team or maybe they've outsourced,
Yeah.
but she kind of facilitates like some of the campaigns, plannings, um, allows just reconfirm some of the brandings and editing and branding awareness that will relate to the end user, to the audience.
Mm-hmm.
She's also building kind of like providing some guidance on her online reputation,
Mm-hmm.
so building that as well. Her soft skills are like the creativity and her graphic design background. She has a really keen eye for design, so I'll have like an idea in mind, but I don't really know how to
Right.
create that. So she'll use Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop. Yes. So Photoshop, she's nodding her head in the background here. And and she's creating all these like postcards, flyers, graphics, email campaigns.
Yeah.
And even just like sometimes, for example, we'll come up with a logo and a name for a project, and she'll have like 10 different designs for the developer to select from. And then from
Yeah.
there, it's shortlisted. And then we'll kind of work again with the developer on recreating something that is meaningful to the project. So, kind
Mm-hmm.
of brand awareness. Also, speaking notes for me if I need to give any presentations. She also, yeah, basically helps me with anything that's really digital. So, creating like our e-newsletters,
Mm-hmm.
creating our hardcover newsletters, um, and recreating and designing our listing and buyers presentations
Oh, it's so
folders.
great. I see. This is the thing. I told you I need a Miranda because we outsource for all of that.
Right. Yeah. That's the thing.
And
I think,
I don't want to outsource for that.
yeah. So I wanted to bring that in-house because I knew that there was so many different facets of like our business. And
Yes.
so to have somebody that is outsourced, then they're pulled into many other projects, and
It's so
and you're
true.
kind of getting maybe 80% of their attention.
Hmm.
And so what's kind of difficult right now is that we have so much going on. We
Mm-hmm.
have our like multiple projects. We have our West One team, resale team. We have our podcast. We have,
Mm-hmm.
we're always doing our videos. We had our brokerage just open.
Mm-hmm.
So I almost find, I do know we need to add an additional person.
So I was going to say, I'm hearing that you need to make a new hire.
Yes.
And then if you need to make a new hire, what does your ideal person look like? What would the job title be, or what would they be responsible for?
Mm-hmm.
Ask now on the podcast, because I'm sure that people are interested in what you have to
Yes.
offer.
So, what the West One real estate marketing team is looking for is a social media content curator
Mm-hmm.
and someone who will kind of be our like in our shadow to record and film like all the behind the scenes of us doing work. Maybe even if we're talking into the video, like you've done your marketing videos
Mm-hmm.
to your audience, like just some things that maybe will take like 10 minutes to do, but then they're going to curate that content,
And pull out what you need to be able to
edit,
use and
right,
everything.
do the
Mm-hmm.
editing and then repurpose it
Yeah.
in different platforms. And then even just put some like really cool graphics. So they are kind of working with me as a visionary, but also with a little bit more hands-on with
Mm-hmm.
Miranda as well, because this person will always be kind of by our side and on site with us pretty much like 5 days a week.
Okay.
So I would probably say
That's a lot. That's a lot.
but here's the thing. I feel like we are not getting enough. There's so much going on in our everyday
You want to
business.
capture it
There's
all.
like 5 of us as well. So there is enough work to go around. It could be
Mm-hmm.
a piecework deal. It could be hiring within as an internal team member. That's something that we would prefer.
Mm-hmm.
And also some of the skills that you would really need to know are like understanding how social media works, how the algorithms work, how to respond to leads and basically make comments, how to get us on other people, like get other people sharing our content as
Like cross
well.
marketing and things.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So this person is kind of on the pulse
Yeah.
of kind of real estate and social media.
Okay. I mean, I feel like the right person is out there for you.
I think there's tons. It's, you know
Yeah.
what though, we haven't really, we've talked about it over the past couple of weeks. We haven't really put out any post. So I think this is a perfect time for us to share that we are looking for someone to kind of join our team in that capacity. And whether it's, talking about the strategy and talking about campaigns, setting goals, meeting deadlines, build and just building a stronger online presence
Mm-hmm.
and brand for us would really enhance kind of our presence online just because we
Mm-hmm.
have enough, we feel like, but there's the in-betweens that are missing.
Right. And you always want to expand, do a little bit better, improve things.
Hmm.
Okay. So that's what Jenny's looking for, somebody.
Right.
How do you want these people that are listening and that maybe have a really highly qualified friend that's aligned? How do you want them to get in touch with you or the team?
So you can reach me at jenny@west1realestate.ca. Thank you for asking
You're
that.
welcome.
And yeah, email your resume or send me a DM, which is West One Real Estate Team. We are what you kind of need to have is a little bit of passion for real estate. So you
Mm-hmm.
don't need to be a realtor or anything like that at all. You just need to know kind of like staying on top of like the industry news, understanding how to copyright. So you kind of need to know like real estate language,
Mm-hmm.
and also knowing how to kind of collaborate. So you're not afraid to reach out to like kind of third party vendors and maybe we can like do a seminar with them or kind of know how to get people on camera,
Mm-hmm.
being comfortable on camera.
Mm-hmm.
So so in that sense, like knowing good camera angles, know how to edit content as well, and just be really on top of like the management of the content and
I feel like if you had somebody working with you guys 5 days a week, though, even though there's a lot of work, which is amazing, you probably don't need them there that often. Like maybe for specific, because I'm just thinking the amount of content that you guys would come up with and that would need to be edited would be massive.
Okay, but think about this. It's not just West One for the resale team.
Okay,
We
I
have
get it for
four
everything. I
developers.
see, I
We
see.
have the brokerage. We
So you want
have
it for
the
everything.
podcast, where even the podcast, what Miranda and I even talked about is we've been trying to get sponsors on,
Yeah.
and we just haven't had time to reach out to sponsors, but also to repurpose some of our content, where instead of having hour long episodes being posted, which we can't,
Mm-hmm.
maybe narrow it down to like 1 minute, 1 minute kind of like,
Do,
yeah. So our social media kind of community manager or team manager
mm-hmm.
is really kind of by our side,
Yeah, the whole time.
right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you heard her. If anyone's interested in this position and you can help Jenny out with her team, you know how to get in touch with her or shoot us a message over the podcast too. She'll reply to you there.
Yeah. And so maybe if you have like a 1 to 3 years experience, a passion for learning about real estate, but you're more on the digital media content side, you have a good camera phone at the
The
minimum, but good
updated
camera,
one.
yeah, good camera equipment would be great, but something that we can always supply as well. And I think our kind of mood is like we want to be funny, we want to be engaging, we want our content to be entertaining and shareable as well. So just something to consider, kind of like our style.
I mean, that's
So
kind of like how you guys are, though, anyhow. You're basically asking someone to capture how you guys actually are,
yeah,
right?
well, yeah,
As a
and
team.
but that person needs to kind of understand like our style,
Yeah.
right? And so we're not here to, I don't know, sell like $10 million properties, but we just want to also attract clients that align with us too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's happy to look at resumes. Again, Jenny at west1realestate.ca. Looking forward to adding more members to our team.
Yeah. And what about, I guess, anything else that we want to talk about in terms of call outs or even future goals? I guess we're in the summer now and
Mm-hmm.
half the year's gone by.
Mm-hmm.
What are we looking forward to in terms of it could be real estate related on each of our teams or our podcast or maybe even just, I mean, some people would want to take time off for the summer. You can't do that now because you just
Mm-hmm.
opened the brokerage. So you have to be there for a little bit.
Yeah.
But anything that would be inspiring to our listeners?
Yeah, I have with the brokerage,
Mm-hmm.
obviously looking for agents to join Oakland Realty Northwest.
Mm-hmm.
And what's fantastic is that evolving with, using the podcast as my platform, all the coaching sessions I've had in my personal life, it's all come together where when I have these coaching sessions and meetings with the agents that are joining the brokerage, it's so uplifting to hear their goals, to go
Mm-hmm.
to hear their business goals and personal goals. That for me, I am really, I don't want to say like really invested, but I want to be their partners, and it's really helped me develop my coaching skills in the meantime, like
You
working with
want to
them.
support their vision, and it's almost it's as though their success is your success because you get to share in
Absolutely,
it and observe it
absolutely.
and experience it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So my goal is to just kind of see like where they want to land, what their success plan looks like, and if there's any holes that we need to fill, like where can I help them out?
Mm-hmm. And are you because you have your hands in so many or different hats, I should say, on when you're like for your team meetings and things like that, are you guys constantly communicating with one another? Do you have a weekly team meeting or team building exercises
Mm-hmm.
that really inspire the community and family life, I guess, in terms of your work brokerage?
Yeah. So because I just started the brokerage, obviously I think we had a fantastic turnout at our grand opening event
It
on
was
June
a lovely
15th.
event.
There was close to 150 attendees.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was a great start, good vibe, good energy
Mm-hmm.
to the event, and I'm hoping to host more. We had our Hats Off Day weekend with the city of Burnaby at Burnaby Heights, but more rooftop events, more rooftop socials upstairs in the same building. But absolutely, we're gonna, they're also invited to the Oakland events, but we're obviously with our own brokerage, we're gonna have our Christmas events as well. With my team, as if you're joining us as a social media content creator and manager, our team, West One team, we get together every summer and every Christmas. So our summer I used to get Miranda involved, but now I'm doing it as a surprise every time. So no one knows what I plan, but I think I'm a very good person who arranges dates. I'm a very good girlfriend when it comes to date nights and stuff.
Oh, that's sweet.
So I have planned a very special evening this summer with my team on team building, and then afterwards we'll do a dinner. Christmas.
So when
as well.
is it happening?
Oh God, it's sometime in August. I think August 10th. I want to say somewhere
Okay, good.
around
So
there.
you can tell us on a future podcast episode what you surprised the team with
Yes.
and how it went.
I'm really excited to share this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're at the end of August for that.
No, beginning of August.
Beginning of August.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I can't wait to hear about it. So exciting.
So that's a team building event, and then we're going to do dinner. And then again in the winter, we typically do another team event, and then Christmas dinner on the same day.
That's
So,
nice.
but in between, we're always,
You got the group chat going, the WhatsApp
group chat,
chats
and then I
going.
have hundreds of chats because I'm in their chats with their clients, all the leads that I pass on to them. I'm, and they're involved in the projects that I work on. So I'm constantly in contact with them.
I'm curious, when you're bringing on, or maybe not now, but before, when you brought on each of your team members and you were having them work with past clients, or do you still work with your past clients? It depends,
mainly,
right?
Yeah, it depends on how close I am with them.
Okay, so let's say you're introducing a new team member to one of your past clients or something. What does the conversation look like? And what kind of a leader are you? So you do the introduction and then you're just kind of there for support, but not a micromanager?
I don't think I'm a micromanager, but I have high standards.
Yeah, that's fine.
So your question is, how do
you set up that conversation? Right. What does it look like?
For them to introduce to my team?
No. So I'm your new realtor, let's say. Not new, but let's just pretend I am. And you've brought me onto your team. And okay, actually 2-part question. What does the conversation look like when you bring me in? And then after that, after I've passed that test and I'm now a part of your team, what does it look like when you're delegating and setting me up with helping your clients buy or sell real estate?
Okay, so kind of like the interview process.
Yeah.
Or I guess onboarding. So I think I'm very clear with exactly what I need. So for example, we recently got a resume, and my understanding is he was really keen to kind of join our team, but he kept saying yes, 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 yes to everything.
Concerning.
Which I think he was really eager, but he wasn't quite the right fit. But he did a good job. I actually, it was kind of like a 3-part interview, because firstly it was over the phone or Zoom, and then second was in person. And during that second meeting, he kind of showed us some samples of things that he's done in school, but it just wasn't, I still wasn't convinced that he was the right fit. But he kept saying, I can do it, I'm interested. And I said, okay, give me something. I gave him 48 hours to give me something new, to shoot something along Burnaby Heights.
Okay.
And he came back, and it was a little bit too, I guess, cinematic for what I wanted.
I see.
And I wanted just more impromptu, candid, and kind of uplifting and on the beat,
I get it.
So he wasn't the right fit. And so I was able to say no to that, but I know that I'm still looking for a placement for him, because he is a right fit for somebody. Because he does have experience and he's shadowed in other real estate.
Maybe just a different type of style or something.
Different style, but also just, it's not now, he just needs a little bit more experience for what I'm looking for. For me, I'm more looking for someone who has little bit more like attention to detail, needs a little bit less direction. Like I said, like I don't want to micromanage, and someone who really is hands-on with on a day-to-day, like with the design tools like Photoshop, like InDesign and Illustrator. So he just didn't have that experience. And so the interview process just kind of looks like, you know, outlining my expectations and then looking at like the past work experience that they've had. And and also giving very scenario behavioral kind of scenario questions to see how they would behave in certain situations.
So if someone was the right fit for your team, would you say that after that, even one initial meeting, if it checked all the boxes and you, is it more of a feeling that you're going off of as well, that they're the fit?
For sure.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. It needs to vibe, good energy. What are their intentions? Usually, like, I feel like everybody on the team has always been a referral. So typically, I feel like, you know, it's been a great success.
Yeah.
And then the ones that have not been a referral, I mean, mind you, I have the ones that were also referrals in the past, like also didn't work out, I think just timing wise, or maybe they wanted something different. But yeah, I would say huge part of it is the gut.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay. Anything else that we want to add? I can say one last thing as
Sure.
well for more specifically what I'm looking for. Basically, I kind of had said this before, but I'm looking for someone like a Miranda because um, I feel as though marketing and pulling together certain newsletters and pieces and marketing materials to a degree is a very different skill set than obviously someone that's going to be managing the back end, like a contract manager or full-time assistant who's managing the database, right? One is they're both detail oriented for sure, but one of them is a bit more creative, right? So I feel like over the last, it's probably been about 4 or 5 years, we were actually always looking for a Miranda. Maybe we just didn't let the Miranda in. Sorry, Miranda, I'm just saying I need a Miranda. But that's one of the reasons why we've always contracted out. And as you mentioned, it does come with certain difficulties when you're contracting out, even just in terms of communication, or, you know, if you want to give them more things, but it's like their time is spread so thin and they're not really, I mean, they're an important part of getting the team to where it needs to be, but it's not an integral part of the team where they're like invested. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that, and then I'm just growing my team of realtors. It would be great if there was another experienced one that could come on, just because I'm feeling that I'm definitely up to the challenge and the task in terms of mentoring and teaching new realtors. And it is a lot of very important work. So having a second person to bounce ideas off of, or I don't want to say quality control, that's not the right word, but do you know what I mean? There's so many things that go into becoming a successful realtor. On one hand, you have sales and generation and closing leads. And on the other hand, you want to make sure that things are done properly, right? It's not just about selling. Anybody could
Right.
actually sell something.
Right.
It just might not be well. So the standard of care is really
Yeah,
important.
I think some of the soft skills are interpersonal skills are a lot harder to you can't train that. So
No.
it kind of needs to come from their character, like who they are, their values, and their work ethics.
Yes. Yeah. And they could learn the knowledge base of what it actually is like to sell real estate.
Right. And so
So
you're looking. So you just added two more,
I added one, Anoop.
Anoop
I
and
have two more coming
two.
on.
Right. Okay.
Um,
Do you want to add a third one?
Maybe by next year. Let's just wait until next year. But if anybody is listening, get in touch with me because
It takes a
there's
while to hire.
there's possibility to add you into the training and everything now to see if you'd be a good fit if you want to learn.
And so I mean, you've always been working on your own and had
Yeah.
an assistant, unlicensed assistant.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, this massive change. You had two kids. Is that what's prompting this? Is spending more time with your family, or is it
Yes.
all the episodes that we've been doing and it's
No, it's both. I would say both though, because we've had a lot of great inspirational people on our podcast who I've learned from for sure. But I would actually say the main motivating factor for me is balancing time with my kids because Antonio's 7 now.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy to me. He's 7 and all of a sudden he's taller, almost as tall as me, and I'm short, but tall and skinny and he has no more baby fat. But when I was in it and I was working a lot and I didn't spend a lot of time at home,
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't see it at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a regret. I don't want to do that again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And I think more than anything, we're just putting it out there that we are looking for help. And more, I think for us too, is we love the teamwork, we love time management, we love spreading success everywhere. So
Yeah.
that's most important as leaders in this business is that we are helping you guys as well to grow your business. So
Hmm.
um, looking forward to meeting you guys all.
Yeah. And if you're applying on my team, you can reach me at tony@belairrealty.ca.
And don't forget that you've got to follow us on
Yeah.
YouTube and Apple Podcast. We will always want to appreciate you guys by
Yeah.
just giving thanks. And thank you for following us.
Thanks, guys.